And the final question, can you please comment about Thomas Lukaszuk's petition and how it affects the APP's petition?
All right, so that's a really good question. Okay, so Thomas Lukaszuk is obviously someone who's not in favor of Alberta sovereignty, and he's drawn a hard line in the sand, and he's been doing his thing with the Elections Alberta, and he submitted numerous questions, but he submitted the most recent one, which got approved under the current legislation. Now, when you look at the Citizens Initiative Act, you see that you can have a petition that forces change of policy or legislation, but does not change the Constitution. And so what we're after with APP is a change to the Constitution. And that change to the Constitution means that Alberta is removed from the Constitution because we're a sovereign country. That's what it means. So with respect to Thomas Lukaszuk's question, his question is along the lines of, do you agree that Alberta should remain in Canada? Okay, so that's a policy question, or it could be a legislative question. So he has to collect about 270,000 signatures in 90 days. Now, he may be able to do that, and if he does that, then in 2026, there will be a referendum on that question, because the Premier has said we will respect the result of the petition and we will respect the result of a referendum. However, the provincial government has the latitude also to change the question. And they may change the question to something along the lines of, do you agree that Alberta should become a sovereign nation and cease to be a province of Canada? Which actually is a question that aligns with the Clarity Act. You see, Thomas Lukaszuk's question doesn't align with the Clarity Act. What he wants to do is he wants to change policy or have the government put in legislation that will prevent a referendum on sovereignty. That's what he's trying to do. Now, we're going to be submitting, because on Friday, February the 4th, Elections Alberta, Bill 54, the changes to the Citizens Initiative Act will be proclaimed into law. So that lowers the threshold for constitutional change from 600,000 to, from 600,000 to 10% of the number of people who voted in the last election, which is 177,000. That's a number that many of you have probably heard. So we'll be submitting our question on Friday at the time that the law, that Bill 54 is proclaimed into law, which lowers that threshold to 177,000. Then it's going to be really interesting, folks. It's going to be really interesting to see how Elections Alberta handles two questions. One question from Lukaszuk deals with policy and potential legislation change. Our question deals with constitutional change.